Sarah Batista was there. Then and over the years as you have so closely followed it?
Well, the FBI has never formally named any suspects, but that certainly doesn't mean that there haven't been suspects. I was pretty
Finally, what's up, everybody? How y'all doing? I'm so sorry. I got knocked out when I was trying to set up all of the clips for y'all. I got knocked out of here, so I have to redo it. That's what I'm working on right now. But I want to say hello. How's everybody doing? Happy Tuesday. What is it, Tuesday? Oh, shoot. Happy Wednesday. Oh, my gosh. So today we're going to be, oh my goodness, we're going to talk about this case, Asha Degree. And we got a lot to cover. We're going to be here for a minute. And for the rest of the week, we are going to be here for a minute. So I'm going to work on getting things set up while I go over showing you guys this video or letting you hear some audio. But I'm going to let people come in. I just want to say welcome. Thank you for being here. My name is Shiro. Welcome to my channel where I talk all things true crime, missing persons, and I share the story of those that need more attention in the community. So if you're new here, I just want to say welcome. Come on in, check out my vibe. And if you like it, hit that subscribe button. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support. If you're here in the chat, tell me your name and where you're from. And if you've heard of this case before. I'd love to know where you are in the case of Asha Degree. There's a lot going on here. I'm going to try to do a recap every time. So let me go ahead and set y'all up for what's to come because, like I said, we have a lot to cover. It's so much that there are times that I have felt overwhelmed. Yes, I did go to Shelby, North Carolina. I spent a couple days out there. And I mean, I feel like I could go out there so many times and still couldn't even crack the surface of what I need to cover. So my intention is to go back to Shelby on the 11th and to finish up some things that I did not complete. So I just want to just kind of fill you in on where I am, what happened, what I learned, what I didn't learn, so what I need to go back and take a look at. And then hopefully we can build a team here that helps put things together. Because one of the things that I noticed about this case is there's a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of misinformation. So much so that I spoke with someone today. Well, we'll get to that later. But I spoke with someone today who was apprehensive about speaking with me because of the misinformation, of being misquoted in the newspaper and things like that. And I don't want that to happen to anybody else. So I am going to do my best to try and put out everything that I feel like is accurate with my sources and things like that, because this is important. And I think that we can do, if we do that together collectively, then we can help bring justice to Asia and her family. Also, when you have a lot of misinformation, sometimes that's done on purpose, in my opinion, to keep people confused, to keep people looking elsewhere, to keep the heat off of certain areas, certain people, things like that. So I am going to get into this. Let me go through the chat and welcome you all before we get started. Give me about 5 minutes here. All right, so Elite Visions, I remember to turn in tomorrow. Okay, no problem. Brittany Hunter, welcome. Glenn Dawkins, thank you for being here. Black Honey Bees, thank you so much for being here. Yes, I gasped when I saw that picture too. I gagged. Let's see. Legally Shay, stand up to catch this. Thank you. One Sexy Ice Princess, thank you for being here. Legally Shay. Jen Sanders, thank you all for being here. I hope this is something good for the Dedman family, knows something, and maybe there is a connection with the others, but always justice for Asia. I keep driving past that. Yes, yes. Laura M, hi, I think I didn't make it. Nope, you're here. And for everyone else, I hope if I didn't say your name, please charge my head and not my heart. G Dragon 818. Jen Sanders, welcome y'all. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for being here. You said you sent an email. If you sent it through the website, I haven't logged in the website yet, but if you sent it to my regular email, I've checked all of them, so I'm not sure. I've responded to all my emails there. So if you need to email me at foreverkennedy8120@gmail for right now. And then I will respond to that much, much quicker. All right, so Inglewood Legends, thank you for being here and welcome. Okay, so we're gonna go over a quick timeline first, because what I plan on doing, you guys, I plan on going through the timeline several times. If you see anything in red, if you see an asterisk by anything, that means that I am still completing a part of that, and or there are different for example, there's different information in different sources, and I have to figure out which one is correct. Now, I did reach out to the sheriff and the investigator today. The private investigator did call me back. We did not speak. I don't know what happened with the phone line, but we did not get a chance to speak. And so I left a message for him to call me back, and I told him I will be calling him in the morning, because I think when I finally did reach out, he had already left. So I'll explain to you all that in detail in a few. And right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through this timeline. So if you all don't know, Asha Degree, she was a 9-year-old little girl who went missing from Shelby, North Carolina in 2000 on Valentine's Day. She allegedly got up in the middle of the night. She left her home. No one knows why she left her home. No one knows really if that's what happened, but that's the story we've been rolling with, because it has the most, I guess, clues concerning witnesses who say they've seen her. However, we're going to dig into all that. And when I say we're going to overturn every stone. We are going to turn over every single stone. So if you are into that kind of thing where it gets super, super tedious, then I hope you like that style, because that's what I'm all about. All right, let me go ahead and pull this up real quick so I can share with you. And then our focus today is going to be Roy Blanton Jr., but we'll get there. Roy Blanton Jr. Let me pull up my slides. And then I'll delete this one. And delete that one. Nope, that's not it. Okay. Okay, here we go. I need my glasses back because I can't see for nothing. Okay. All right, it's processing. Give it 1 second, you guys. It's moving kind of slow. So I do have some interviews that I have been speaking with people, and I will say, when I went to Shelby, everybody was really nice. I didn't run into anybody that wouldn't talk to me, not one person. Everybody, even if they didn't know anything, they were very interested in talking, and it gave me the impression that everybody wants to see this case solved. Everybody, especially the locals, they want to see this case solved. Okay, so 1 second. Let me take myself off the screen for one quick second. Okay, so this is the case of 9-year-old Asha Degree, who went missing. As I said before, her disappearance has been a complete mystery, and no one knows what happened to this little girl. She was just, people say she was a tomboy. I do have some footage I want to share that gives you a kind of a look at her when she was that age, just a few months prior to her going missing. Some footage that I found online. So we'll look at that in a few here. So this timeline shows that Asha was 4'6", approximately 60 pounds. She had black hair, brown eyes, and she was from Shelby. Her address at the time was 3406 Oak Crest in Shelby, North Carolina. I visited her neighborhood while I was in Shelby, and it was very interesting. I realized when I got there, like, it's super quiet. It's super quiet. But one thing about that neighborhood is you can tell, even though it's very quiet, it's also very tight knit. Soon as I drove down that street, which we will be covering that tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll be doing, hopefully, if we don't do it tomorrow, we'll do it Friday. We'll be covering the maps of the area and the family trees of both Asha and the Deadmans, Asha's family and the Deadmans. But I went to the neighborhood and I noticed that there was a young guy. He was in his 20s. And I knew he noticed me. And he was standing out. I don't know if he was cleaning his car or what. So I drove around just to kind of get a feel. And I said, okay, let me park, because what my goal was to do was to walk the distance and time it. Okay. I wanted to walk from Asha's house, or as close to it as I felt comfortable. And then I wanted to walk to where she was seen. And I'm circling and I see the guy notice me. And then there was a lady that came out, and then he left and went in the house. And I was like, I guarantee you that they said, they noticed me circling the neighborhood. So then as I was walking, a person pulled up to me, and this is a family member. But this family member asked that I do not share their name or anything like that, or the conversation that we had. But this is a relative of Asha's. And when I was walking, they said, "Are you okay? Like, do you need any help?" And I said, "Yes, I'm fine." "Are you a reporter?" "No." I said, "No, I'm not a reporter." I said, and I told this person, like, "Yeah, I'm doing a documentary on Asha Degree," which I am. And I said, "I just wanted to do the walk." And she said, "Well, you got a long walk, baby." You got a long walk. And so I felt it because by the time she pulled up to me, I was sweating. I was so like, I'm just like, man, I didn't even get a quarter of a mile. And I think it was because the grass was so thick too. And it was a little warm. So I'm like, man, this can't be that much farther, but it definitely was. So this person did tell me that there is a community neighborhood watch, and they're very close over there, so they know when people come on their street, and that's how this person knew that I was in the neighborhood. Came out and tried to figure out who I was. We did have a conversation about what happened, and I asked her, "What do you think happened to Aisha?" And she said that she feels like Aisha was possibly hit by a vehicle and someone panicked. She said she feels like that Asia may be in one of the houses, but not the actual Deadman home that they grew up in, or excuse me, not the home that he currently stays in. And it was a good conversation. I feel like I still, even though I noticed that this person was noticing me, she was very welcoming. She was very welcoming, very nice. She answered my questions. And I asked her about the interview because obviously I was recording. I had my body cam on and I had my phone, which I, was recording the whole time. But, I wanted to know what the sentiment was like in the area. And this is, if I'm going to sum up her words and be as accurate as I possibly can, basically she was saying, we got to live here. We got to live here. Let me take this off the screen while I'm talking real quick. And she was just saying for them, for the family, they've been made to feel, or let me just speak for her, as though let's just, fall back. And they don't want to be in the media. They don't want all of this extra because this is still their home. And a lot of the Degrees and extended family live in that area. So many of them live on the street. I didn't really realize that because a lot of people were asking, who's the next door neighbor to Asia when this happened? Was it a random, was it a neighbor that wasn't connected to the family? We do know that was her family member. It was her uncle that lived next door that shared a wall with that duplex in that duplex apartment. So it was a good conversation. I appreciated the fact that she did answer my questions and talk to me. But I do get the feeling that when you live in a place, and I totally understand, when you live in a place, there's so much controversy around this little girl missing, and you don't know who is who. You don't really know who to trust. And so I think they're trying to really watch themselves as well and be safe because she did tell me, she was like, I got kids. So I understand that. All right, so we're going to get into it. Let me finish here. Let me add this back to the stage. All right. So Shelby. Shelby is a city in Cleveland, and it's seated on the western Piedmont region of the state. Its current population is 19,695, and it's got about 58% whites, 35% blacks or African Americans, and 31% Hispanic or Latinos, and about 0.6 Native Hawaiian or other. Okay. And according to crimegrade.org, the overall crime rate is 39.36. And so basically there's a 1 in 30 chance of being a victim of a crime, which I thought was pretty high. I feel like that's pretty high for Shelby, for any, county. All right, so her mother, I guess how you say her first name is Paquin Aquila Degree. She was 31 at the time Asia went missing. She worked in Lincolnton. It's about 27 minutes away from the Degree home. And I don't know if it changed from Tenawo to Kauai or from Kauai to Tenawo. I don't live out there. Let me know if you do. But basically, that's the company that she worked for. Her Asia's father, Harold, He was 31 also at the time, and he worked at PPG Industries, the second shift. Now, his shift did change during the time she went missing, but we'll go over that. And then her brother, O'Brien Degree, was 10 years old. He's he's about 10 months older than Asia. All right, so we do know we're going to go from Thursday up until Sunday night. Then we're going to pause. We're going to talk about the sightings. And then tomorrow we're going to pick back up and we're going to do the complete timeline and everything else. Okay. So Harold Degree, he worked first shift at PPG, except for, he worked first shift on the 10th, but normally he worked second shift. So his job was located, like I said, 18 minutes away from the house. And this is PPG Industries. They made glass or whatever, and then they started making paints and paint coatings later on. So Harold, let's see, Asia and O'Brien, they had a basketball practice at Boston Elementary School, and their coach at the time was Chad Wilson. I have reached out to Chad, excuse me, I have reached out to Chad to speak with him because I want to know a little bit more about the game, and I finally found him. So hoping that he will respond to me. Everybody in Shelby that I have reached out to has been very responsive. So I'm hoping that he will reach out to me. But I do want to talk to her basketball coach. Excuse me. Both Asia and O'Brien stayed over their cousin's house on that Friday. And then just to let you know, there was a 3-day weekend. They had a teacher work day, so they were off Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Okay. So Asia and O'Brien, they had a basketball game. This is Saturday now at Burns Middle School. This is when Asia fouls out of the game. So this is their first loss of the season. And according to articles, the whole team was crying. It wasn't just Asia. They were all very upset. The coach in an article said that they were all crying and they were all upset. And her mother attests to that as well. Her brother had a game right after hers, and so they stayed, watched her brother play, and then they left to go home. So this is Burns Middle School, and to your right is a picture of Asia and her team. And there's her coach. He looks kind of the same today, just a little bit older. All right, this is Saturday continued. So Asia went to her 15-year-old cousin Katina's sleepover. It was said that O'Brien did not attend. I still need to verify that, but I have seen in 2 locations that he was not in attendance at that sleepover. They were said to have watched Showtime at the Apollo and Soul Train at the sleepover. Now, apparently there was about 12 girls or 12 attendees at the sleepover. It doesn't really say whether they were 12 girls, whether it was mixed with some of the cousins that were boys, girls, whatever. However, to me, that's a lot. That's a lot. It's enough to go missing in a crowd. It's enough for something to, for someone not to notice you, depending on the space and people being busy or whatnot. And so I think that's important. We'll get into that later, because the fact that Asia went home and took a nap after, I don't know, that stands out to me. Let me know if it stands out to you as being important. It could be nothing. It could be absolutely nothing. However, she took a nap. It's not like she was waiting up to or anticipate being able to sneak out later. Like, she took a nap. And there are several things that bother me about that nap, that I want to get into later. All right, and on Sunday, February 13th. All right, so this is the day before Asia disappears. So at 11 a.m., the family, they attend Macedonia Missionary Baptist Church in Waco, North Carolina, and then the family goes home. Now, around noonish, actually, they don't go straight home. Around noonish, the family eats together at an aunt's house, okay? Now, Asia allegedly takes a nap when they get home, And I just wanted to know if this was normal. Like I said, we'll go over that a little later, but I don't know, something about that also makes me wonder, why were you so tired? Um, and like I said, it could be nothing. Kids take naps. All right. 8:30 p.m. Asia woke up from her nap due to the storm. Now, you're going to see very different accounts of the time. This is a very, very big discrepancy here. And it's not the only one. There are like 4 or 5 different times. So, the reason why I didn't hold too tight to any of this is because it doesn't matter right now. We are like, what I'm doing is I'm trying to like put everything in all of the articles together that have specific times, and I kind of want to see something. But for now, we all know that this block of time is not solid at all. So it says Asia, she woke up from her nap because of the storm, and she went in the living room and watched TV with the rest of the family. There are some articles that say she napped on the couch. So which one is it? Did she nap in her room or did she nap on the couch? We don't know. Now, it's reported she was wearing a white shirt from her family reunion with purple letters that said sun degrees hot in Atlanta. So I want to know, was this shirt left at the house or was it reported along with the rest of her items that were missing? Because some of the truck drivers or some of the people, because it was more than 2 people that saw her, right? It was reported that she had on a dress, a long dress. So where's the shirt that she had on the couch? Where's that? Now, it is also stated in several videos that I've seen, several news articles, that her aunt and uncle came over. Mom said that because she said before they watched the NBA playoffs that they came over. She says the uncle left. No, she says the aunt was still there, but she never really says when or if the uncle left. She never says what time he left. She's kind of left that open. Also, we don't know which uncle that is. There's an uncle that lives right next door, and then there's an uncle that lives across the street. So she did say across the street. However, we're going to get into that later too when we bring out the maps. This is so funky right now, but let's table it. All right, at 9 p.m., a car hits a power line, shutting off the power in the surrounding area. The incident makes the local papers. So if I put anything in like there like that, I do have the articles, so I'm confident that that was printed. However, we don't really know because there's a lot of stuff that has been printed in the paper that is not correct. But it did say that the paper did pick it up that there was a power outage, and it knocked a lot of people's power out in that area. So, excuse me, when does Asia go to bed? We don't really know. We don't really know. But we're gonna figure that out. We're gonna try to narrow the gap so that we can figure out when this little girl went to bed, because that's important. There are some people that don't think that she left. There are some, if you've been following this case, there are some people that don't think that Asia walked anywhere. And then as you learn things, you kind of see, you understand why people think the way that they do. So I say, don't abandon your thoughts, don't abandon your theories, because right now I'm going to hit you with so much stuff this week that every theory has legs, in my opinion. And I want to hear yours once everything is out. It feels like every theory has legs so strong that it doesn't make sense because let me speak for myself. Every time I felt like I was onto something, then there was another possibility that hit me like, bam, wait a minute. What if this? So I do want to talk also about the possibility, because the biggest question here is why Asia left. Why did she leave? Why did she leave? Now, if you're with me, sorry guys, my throat is so dry. If you're with me, let me know. And if not, if you have another idea, let me know that too. If you're not sleepwalking, if that's not going to be the driving theory of why you left, I feel like a child that age, it in the dark, in the rain, where there's potential animals that you don't like. So you got three elements that are a big fear for you. Okay. Three elements. And you left in those three big, they're not small elements. Apparently the storm was really strong. So you have three elements and you still leave. So, in my opinion, if it wasn't sleepwalking, then whatever you were dealing with at that time had to be it had to be worse than what was outside. Does that make sense? Whatever you are dealing with that made you want to leave, however angry you are, or however upset or scared or whatever, has to be worse than what is outside. Let me know. Because it doesn't really make a lot of sense. So I mean, you got to understand this girl was at a sleepover with a bunch of 15-year-olds, older cousins, with a bunch of anybody. Who knows? It could have been older cousins, uncles, aunts. You just don't know what that environment was like. So I you have to leave room for thought as to what could have happened. Also, the theory of sleepwalking. Now, I talked to my brother who was telling me about his sleepwalking experience. My brother, he's he sleepwalk he sleepwalks quite frequently, and so does my nephew. And I remember when I was a kid, I remember him sleepwalking, and I remember my mom getting so mad at him because it's scary to someone who's not used to it, right? And so my nephew is he's 9 now. Wait, no, he's 11 now. When he was 7, he started sleepwalking. And so between a specific ages, which I do have, let me see if I have that up right now. If not, I'll find it for tomorrow. But sleepwalking is very common in kids, and I think it starts around that age, 7 to 9-ish. Well, my nephew will get up in the night. He will go and stand at the refrigerator. He would go stand. My brother said he would go in their room and just stand there and stare at them. And he definitely gets that from my brother, because my brother, let me just say this real quick, because I wanted to know, is it possible to sleepwalk and enter environments that you're normally afraid of, that you're normally not comfortable with? Is that possible? Because remember, Asia left, she didn't have a coat on. She just left, and she locked the door though, but she didn't take her coat. And one thing that my brother said, he was telling me this instance where he was sleepwalking. He left home. He got dressed, put shoes on. He left home. He walked over a mile and a half, almost close to a mile and a half. And he said he felt like he was dreaming the whole time. And he said he remembers seeing a car accident, and he turned around and he went back home. He said the only reason he knows that he was sleepwalking is because when he woke up, he was fully dressed and he was turned sideways on the bed. But he got up and walked that far. And it's so scary to me that your mind can shut off and do this autopilot thing on its own. And you could just be walking down the street, sleepwalking. You're not even awake. That's crazy to me. So I just think I think that, oh, and I just happened to see this bottom comment. Yes, it's under extreme stress. So let me mention that too, because I asked him, I said, what do you think made you do that? And he said he kept saying that he'd been thinking, I need to work out. I need to work out. I really need to work out. And it was on his mind so heavy, and he was under a lot of stress. So I think subconsciously he just knew that he needed to do it. And so his body was trying to his brain was trying to force him to get up. And so he feels like that's what it was. It was like extreme stress going on in his body. And I believe that too. So Asia could have been under a lot of stress, and I just can't get over, the fact that there was a sleepover, and I don't know. But I say, always table that theory, because I think when the truth comes out, there's going to be a lot of us that maybe not are not surprised, and some that are. All right, so at 12:30 the power comes back on, and then Harold checks on the children. There are accounts that he did check on them, and then there are accounts that he did not check on them again or at all until 2:30. There are also accounts, which I didn't put it in here yet because there are not as many, so I'm waiting. There are also accounts that Harold left. He went to the store to get a gift for his wife for Valentine's Day and their anniversary, which was also on Valentine's Day. Um, However, the store that is down the street that I went to, BJ's, has only been open. The store that's closest to their home, the BJ's convenience store, I went there. The owner said it's only been open for 10 years. Don't quote me. I have the audio. I'll play that for y'all this week. But anyway, the owner said it basically was not open then, and prior to that, it was like some type of a trucking store or something like that. It wasn't a place where you could go and just get something real quick. Now, there was allegedly a Walmart, but I think that was like a 20-minute drive. So like 40 minutes there and back plus. So I'd say about an hour, give or take, how long you spend in the store, if that were the case. Okay. Um, let's see. At 2:30, Harold checks on them again. And then O'Brien says that he woke up and he saw Asia get out of bed, and he said he also recalled the time. So I've read so many articles. Some people think that it's, not common for a kid that age to notice or recount the time. You never know. You never know. At 10 years old, I wasn't looking at the clock like that, but maybe, I don't know. I don't remember. All right, so I'm going to go to the comments really quickly before I keep going, because we have a lot to cover. I'm just going to give you all a trigger warning right now. I should have did it at the beginning. Trigger warning. We'll just be talking about some disturbing things. Nothing too bad just yet, but I just don't know who all is in the audience. So I just want to give you a trigger warning if you're sensitive to subjects that deal with, perversion or whatever. Okay. All right. So where did I leave off? Oh man, thank you all for being so communicative in the comment section. I really do appreciate that. So let's see. Some people believe, and I'm going to scan these and then go back later, okay? So I can catch up, because I know it's late for you guys, but I really want y'all to get through this, and I really want to share this. I'm so passionate about this case. Some people think that she was in the house. I believe she is probably buried in one of the houses, maybe placed in walls or covered in concrete in a basement, and they have so much land across oh yes. So I had a conversation with someone. I had to redact part of it because there were names in it, but I yeah, I think the possibilities of where she could be are endless, and that scares me a little bit, because um there's a lot of wooded area. There's a cut. If I could find it on my phone, when I was walking, there was a cut. I was just walking and it just looked like woods, right? And I look over and there's a cut. There's like a driveway. You would miss it. Like if you were just walking, somebody could snatch your ass up and pull you in the cut, and no one would ever know. It was a whole long driveway that leads to a house, and there are a lot of little nooks like that all over Shelby. All over Shelby. I cannot wait to show you the footage. If you're from there, you know. You already know. So, okay, let's see. If she was being drugged into a vehicle, and that was so one of the things that I plan on asking the detective tomorrow is about that change, because at first they said she was spotted in a vehicle, then they said that she was getting pulled into the vehicle. I want to know what was the reason for that change in words. Can you give me some clarification on that? Because I don't want to report anything that's inaccurate. There's been enough inaccurate or inaccuracy surrounding this case, And I think it's irresponsible to keep doing that, and so I'm glad you brought that up because that's on my list of questions to ask. Let's see. Who's seen a green car that person has? Exactly. I want to know where that information came from. I don't think they're going to tell us, but I think it's closer to the crime than we think. Right? Because I mean, all these years, and oh, we got so much to get into. Okay, I'll finish reading y'all comments in a second. We got so much to get into, y'all. Okay, so 3 o'clock, Asia allegedly gets up, packs her personal items, puts them in her book bag. She doesn't put a coat on. It's wet outside. It's cold outside, but she doesn't put a coat on. So, and this is assuming that she was the one that locked the door behind her, okay? Um, so of the missing items were her purse and two of her favorite outfits. Now, I do have a question about the jeans because Nancy Grace was the only one who said that her favorite pair of jeans were at um, Roy Dedman's one of his houses, right? Now, my question is, and we're gonna look at not the Carhartt jeans, but just how they're made or whatever. Because I can see how she liked to wear her pants at that age, that kind of a little bit baggy look, so cute. But we're gonna look at that. But I wonder if Nancy was given that information and wasn't told, "Hey, we don't want you to leak this," because she's got a lot of access, and it's not the first time that she's done that. I believe she put out information of the Idaho 4 case. If you follow that, I believe there was something she put out concerning the Idaho 4 case that was a first as well. She's known for, like, I pay attention to Nancy. I actually like Nancy Grace. For all y'all who don't, I know a lot of people don't, but I love me some Nancy Grace. But she does that a lot. So I'm wondering if that was something that maybe they didn't remember to tell her to keep under wraps because she's got that information or not. Okay, so all right, here we're going to get into the nitty gritty. Let's talk about these sightings. So there were two important sightings. Overall, there was more. Why they're not talked about or the people are not named, I don't know. Maybe their account didn't match these two. I have no idea. But these are the two sightings that are um, repeatedly seen in the newspapers, on the news stations. So these are the ones that we're going to focus on right now and the ones that we're going to talk about right now. And then I'm going to give you a quick interlude information about something in a second. So Jeff Rupp, his name was Jeffrey Rupp. He, I think that's how you say it, but he allegedly saw Asia. Okay. And then Roy Blanton Sr. and his son, okay, Roy Blanton Jr. So let's start with Rupp. So he drove a Sundrop truck. Now, remember, when I first started reporting on this case, I watched Crackhead Chronicles and Mark Davis was on there, and he said that he was a sergeant at the time and that he spoke with Jeffrey Rupp and that he said that he was driving his personal vehicle, right? He said, I wasn't in my truck. I was driving my personal vehicle. Granted, he did not come out to talk about this case for over 10 years, a long time. Okay. So all of these years that have gone by, actually it was over 20 years, I think, and then he decided to contact Crack House Chronicles. All of this misinformation, if that's the truth, because the news articles reported that this was a 10-wheeler. It said it in the news articles. So now you got half the town thinking that this guy saw Asia in his 10-wheeler, which I know it didn't make sense in the first place because you don't turn that big truck around on that narrow 2-lane road. You just don't do it. Where are you turning around at? Where are you turning around at, Jeffrey? Where? So the fact that that wasn't corrected and it was perpetuated like this 10-wheeler, it bothers me because there was never any correction of this statement and it's everywhere, right? So look, here's one of the news articles. It says concern grows as girl stays missing. So it says a Cleveland County truck driver on his regular delivery route spotted a young girl walking south on North Carolina 18 around 4 a.m. Monday. Thinking it was strange, Jeff Rupp, let me know if I'm saying his name right. Jeff Rupp turned around the 10-wheeler, okay? Turned around the 10-wheeler he drives for Sundrop Bottling Company. No easy task on the winding 2-lane road. So you're telling me either your reporters just write whatever the hell they want to write because you are describing that you know it's not easy. So even you thought to yourself as a reporter, like that can't be easy. That you turned your big old truck around and you didn't think to verify that. So either this is true or that 120-year revelation is not really a revelation. That took 20 years to correct. So, anyways, it says, I seen a little girl walking down the road with her book bag, Rupp said Wednesday. Um, Rupp said Wednesday. Hold on, where am I at? Okay. He now believes she was 9-year-old Asha Degree, who vanished from her Shelby home that morning. She had on a little dress and white tennis shoes, and her hair was in pigtails. Rupp grew concerned. I went back, but she never did look up at me. Rupp said, she looked like she knew where she was going. She was walking a pretty good pace. 3 days after Asha disappeared, attracting more than 100 searchers. Oh, excuse me. 3 days after Asha disappeared, attracting more than 100 searchers and an outpouring of community support, authorities. Okay, I think I might have cut that off a little too premature. Okay, so that's the article though. Now, it is said that Jeff did take a polygraph. It says that he passed it as well. Okay, so he allegedly took a polygraph, he passed it. He also comes back to show the FBI where he saw Asha. We're going to get into that part tomorrow because we're going to segue right now to Roy Blanton and this other information. So, Roy Blanton Sr., typo there, was a deputy until 1996. He was allegedly fired by Dan Crawford. And if you know who Dan Crawford was, he was the initial investigator. He was the primary investigator on the case, and he was the sheriff at the time, okay? So this right here is Roy, okay? Let me make sure. All right. This right here is Roy. Oh, yeah, let me back up. He did say, so let me back up. I'm sorry, I skipped something, y'all. So as far as this story with Mark Davis said that the correction was that he was not driving his truck. He was driving his personal vehicle to drive to work. And that's how he was able to turn around 3 times, right? That's how he was able to do that 3 times. But even still, I question that now because I'm just thinking to myself, it was so important for you to do 3 times and you still was just like, okay, I just don't, and you'll understand why later. So I'm just going to put a pin in that. You'll understand why later. At least I hope so. So we'll come back. We'll circle back. All right. So let's go back to Roy. So like I said, he was fired by Dan Crawford. So Roy Blanton Sr., he ran for sheriff twice, okay? Once in 94 and again in 98. Now, he was never asked to take a polygraph. All right. And it is said that he was a substitute teacher. Like he used to substitute at Asia's school. All right. And that's stated in several articles. I saved them all. So that part is true. This right here is Dan Crawford. Dan was the sheriff from 1994 to 2002. He was the initial lead investigator. So he felt, this is initially when this first case started, he said he felt like the person was alone and committed the crime for the first time. That was his analysis, right? He also said the person had to get rid of her after he did what he did to her because he couldn't afford to let her go. So I don't know if he's assuming that after the person did what they did as far as like maybe SA, or did what they did as far as something else. That was not clear as to what he meant by that. Because he did follow up to say that he didn't think the person was an SAer, but a person who committed the act or an act of crime out of a crime of opportunity. Why he thought that, I don't know. But the reason why I think Dan is so important is because Dan, from what I read, Dan really cared about this case. He put a lot of effort into the case. He caught a lot of controversy about this case. And obviously, I don't know Dan, but just from overall, it appeared as though he was having there was some tension about the case, and it was concerning Dan always and how he handled things. Okay. These are some of the contributions to the case. So he hired Kimberly Poyer, and she was a child interview expert because he felt like somebody needed to talk to the brother. Somebody needed to talk to O'Brien because he's a child. We need an expert up in here to see, does he remember anything? What do you know? Is there anything going on? That type of thing. So he hired her to talk to O'Brien and the other kids at Asia's school. And her school friends told Miss Kimberly that Asia had a few dollars in her wallet and she showed it to him, but no one knows where that money came from because allegedly mom and dad did not give Asia any money. Okay. So no one knows even how much it was. It said that it's a few dollars, but what is that? Right. So the amount is unknown. Now this was on the 10th. So whatever came of the money, no one ever said. Is it a part of the items that were found that they're not mentioning? Because like I said, we don't know everything. We have no idea. So Dan also, he hired the FBI to create a psychological profile of Asia's abductor, but that has never been released. No one knows, but it's out there. So they know who they're looking for. They know. And I'm wondering if his opinion of who he felt like would do something like this was before that profile came out or if it was after. Like I'm wanting to know, was that before he hired her? I'm just interested to figure that out. So here's the kicker though. So he ruled out foul play by way of the family, and he cleared the family early on. So people were upset at him for that. Like I said, there was a lot of controversy around Crawford. People had issues with him. And they believed that he was careless because of how he kept talking about theories and putting theories out. So depending on who you talk to, I guess there's mixed reviews. Some people don't care for Crawford's way of doing things, and some people thought that he was all about the case and that he really cared about the work. He was the one that released the 911 transcript. And now you got to think, if you try to get that transcript, good luck. You ain't gonna get it. Why? Why can't we have the audio? But he felt it necessary to release the 911 transcript. Might be something, might be nothing. I don't know. Maybe it's something one of the neighbors said in the background. I don't know. But they felt as though he manipulated the press by doing that. What does that really mean? What does that really mean? Right? Because I feel like that's, first of all, that's a right for us to have as the public. We're entitled to that information. Okay. But I find it ironic because Crawford, he took his own life by GSW. And it was right before all of this broke, kind of. It was in 2015. So people wonder, What was that about? What was that about? Okay. So before we go into anything else, because we got a lot, when I said we got a lot to cover, grab yourself some water. Okay, grab yourself some water. Um, I'm trying to figure out what do I want to show y'all first next. I think I'm going to show y'all this little clip of Asia. Let me do that right now before we go. And we're going to talk about Roy Bland Jr. coming up to for the next half. So let me just go ahead and share this video file real quick. I don't know if I'm going to be able to use the audio on this because of the copyright. So I'm saying, yeah. All right. So this is months before Asia disappeared. You see her mom. You're going to see her in yellow. These are her family members. I don't know who everyone is. I'm going to tell you right now. I'm trying to study the video. I just can't figure everyone. So they're on a trip to the beach. They're getting ready to go to the beach. That's her dad. That's Harold right there in the red. Aquila is in yellow. And there's Asia right there. Yep. That's Asia. Let's back it up just a little bit. Yep. She was smiling. She looked happy. Mom's laughing. So then you see her and her brother and her cousin. You can see her playing around. They're going to go playing around on the porch in a second. So they're at a rest stop in South Carolina. I believe this was made by, actually, I don't know who created this recording. I'm not even going to say because I don't have any proof. I know who they say made it, but I'm not 100% sure. And I'll rewind it in a second so you can see as well, like some of the parts where there's Aquila again. And it just looks like they're hanging out, having a good time. Look at that phone booth. Isn't that a thing of the past? Look at that phone booth. There she is again. So there's Asia, Eric, Derek. I guess those are her cousins. And she, like I said, she seemed to be like, from what you can see, obviously every kid who looks happy ain't happy, doesn't really mean anything, but just looking, she looks like a happy kid. She looks like, you know, and they have a huge family. I mean, so they're here eating now, and aunts, uncles. There's Aquila standing up, looks like at a bar at the rest stop. Hot dogs, hamburgers, just eating. There goes Asia. She was so tiny. I didn't even realize how small and tall she is. Like she was very tall in this video. She said phone calls, 10 cent where? I'm confused. I know, right? I'm confused too. Like what's going on? So, okay, so this is that. So let me back up real quick so you can get a look at Asia at the very beginning one more time so we can kind of see her and let's see where we at. Right at the beginning, you can see them before they even leave and head out. This is September of 99. So it's not that far prior to when she went missing. Brittany Hunter said, wasn't prepared for the Crawford self-deletion. I know. It took, yeah. There she is right there. She's so tiny. Oh, man. And you can only see like a little split second, but she's smiling. She has this big cheesy smile. See right there. So let's take a look at her jeans really quickly. The ones that she's wearing, obviously not the Carhartts, but they look a little, you know, like her little belt is like pulled out on her. Let's see. They look, yeah. I wish we had a better look at them. I could see them a little bit better, but yeah. Everybody's smiling and happy. So I just wanted y'all to see that because this is months before she went missing and she's just hanging out with family. Just hanging out with family. But you never know who's around you. You never know who's adjacent to your family. You never know who's seeking it. You just don't. So it does make me really sad. Okay, so now I am going to, let's see, 1 second. Now let's go to, I did talk to Miss Turner. She gave me permission to share what she talked about. However, I had to redact a little bit because there were some names that she said that I'm not comfortable with putting out. So I need some time before I do that, but we'll get into that later. So if you hear beeping in that audio, that is why. So let me go ahead and go. Well, let me do this first. We'll go to the slide first. It makes more sense. Okay. So Roy Blanton Jr., we're gonna get into it. So this is Roy. This is Roy. Sorry, I didn't prep y'all for that, but this is him. And Roy is known for, I don't even know how to say it. He's a strange cookie. Roy is no longer with us, but he was a strange cookie. He's no longer with us. However, yeah. So as you can see, he's got bows in his hair. He referenced that like he had his hair done a lot, but a lot of people think that maybe Roy was mocking Asia. There's no proof of that. I'm just basically making a statement as to things that I've read via Reddit, via online portals or online threads. So that's out there. But when you see a lot of this going on, it makes you feel a certain type of way. So I'm going to share this with you. If you know, you know. So this is Roy from Roy's Facebook account. He has some really just, so he says they make Play Roy want to play. All right. Now, all of his interactions, all of his communication stopped in 2018. So I said to myself, either he's locked up or he's no longer with us. Because this is before I found out. Because with this going on and all the people, you know, noticing, and I would think that he would do like some and just kind of delete the account or block everybody, and that didn't happen. So that's how I knew. I was like, something is up, and this man is unable to do that, block us. So he would post weird stuff. He was always referencing candy and children all the time. And he's a weirdo. He likes some weird, nasty shit. So it says, want some candy, go to the store, children. And whenever he references I, he always spells it E-Y-E. I am back. So these are just photos that I'm going to share of things Roy put out. If you look here, you can tell he's taking a selfie in the doctor's office, it looks like. If you look through his shades, and then, I don't know, he's at home here because if you look through the glare, the background looks very similar in all the pictures. And I don't know where he lived, but I believe it was a trailer park somewhere because most of his pictures are at that same location. Okay. Sunset Drive-In, Play Roy. So the Sunset Drive-In, I did a map. I did the distance from Asia's house to the drive-in theater that he, I guess, liked to go to, and it was about 20 minutes. So he wasn't far, okay? And this, I think, may have been his home. If you look, I can't blow this up right now, but if you look, you can see the trailer park right across from his glasses. Like you could see it in the glare. So it says, feels good to be back. What's up, Gram fam? I'm not sure if there's any indication that he went to Grambling or what. I'm not sure. Wait, what the F can't? They found rappers at the barn. Yes, and that is, you know, with the pigtails and the cellophane wrappers. Were you taunting? What is that about? Right? So you can't discount anything because only somebody who's, I don't know. And it was so big. It was such a big deal. But however, we're going to talk about in a second, once we're done with Roy and we get to Debbie Turner's audio, you're going to see how misinformed people are in the community. No one in the community knows the details because the information is so messed up. No one knows what's really going on. Oh, okay, I blew it up for y'all here. See, I got y'all. So then you can see in the background right here, there's like a little, I don't know if that's a dirt road because it looks like pavement here. But I'm sure that'll be easy to find out if I study it just a bit more. Oh, it's Instagram. Okay, because I'm used to Gram fam, like Grambling. Okay, I got you. Instagram. The rappers in pencil may have been planted once again. No sense. Exactly. Yeah. It doesn't make sense to be there. I will tell you that. It makes no sense at all. Sorry, I'm only catching the bottom comments, but I will get to y'all. So these are two posts that he made. Says they make Play Roy wanna play LMFAO. And of course, we came through in the comments, putting Asia's name. I love how we hold people accountable now. Someone said, want some candy, go to the store, children. It's just so strange, so weird, so eerily uncomfortable, and just dirty uncle vibes, dirty, nasty. I don't know. I don't like it. I just don't. Here's his driver's license. All right. Does anyone know Jackie and Marvin? They have or had an orange Bronco and a red Cabrici, and a lot Rebel American flag. Oh, a lot of Rebel American flags in their yard. Tell them to hit up on Facebook. I need their help with a camper. Thank you. What you need a camper for? He reading from him is just, it makes my head hurt. It makes my brain freaking hurt. Here he is in the doctor's office again, taking another photo. I don't know why he need to go to the doctor so much, but Roy was in there. Okay, so this post says, I think this man, I'm gonna read it how I think he means to say it, because otherwise it is gonna piss you off. It is so annoying. So, ready for this shit to be over with, but until the 1960s, we the people on y'all's constitution only meant, I think he meant only meant the white man could vote. We the people, boldface MF lie, and his mama couldn't vote, and some of y'all still don't vote. White and black people have died for your right. Who did Geronimo get to vote? I am a felony. I think he meant felon. 25 years ago. And if you ever been in prison or jail, your ass did vote. The governor of each state counts every inmate, and that's how many ballots is counted. If the governor is a Republican, every ballot is a Republican. Picture that, or they all would be a Democrat. If Roy beats Matt, now you see why they keep anybody in, like Akon song, when I'm locked up. See, they tell you to lose your rights, but if you did, you couldn't pay taxes on them oodles and noodles. I think that's what he meant to say. Every night, honey buns, stamps. They could smoke. Okay, don't matter who you pick. Play Roy's Hearts, Facebook, fam. I am done preaching. If Jesus' mother lived, then she couldn't vote. And I think it says, ain't that a B? Y'all say, it says, ain't that a B? God bless America. Say God bless the world. I can't really read that through the thing, but you get the point. You get it. Okay, so then this is the drive from the theater to Asia's house, just to show you that this man, was very close. I mean, or, at times very close. I'm not sure about his home because I get different addresses for his location, but at least frequenting that theater, if he did, he wasn't very far. And this is the Sunset Outdoor Drive-In Theater. It's no longer operational, but this is what it looked like. This is what it looked like. All right, so he makes some disturbing comments. It says, it is a beautiful pic, Melissa, and he has your eyes, and she is cute, and you get it from your mama. Okay, then he says, to Sonia, my redheaded real size baby doll. This becomes more creepy in a second when I get to the next slides. So just hold tight and hang on to your gag reflexes if you can. I love you, and you also, we've been doing this dance for a while, in and out of each other's lives. Now, I've been sleeping off and on, but thinking you here before I came back from doctors. He stayed at the doctors. Come and get me, honey. You said you wouldn't leave me. I am not high on anything right now, but our love for one another. Come get me. I love you. Okay. This is his screensaver from his phone. He screenshotted and uploaded it to Facebook for whatever reason. And it looked like he had like a lot of cleaners for like the drive, like to clean off your phone. And I mean, not really much, but I had to mark out her under boob, you guys, just for tact. And the 360 security app he has on there, 360 booster. Is that a messaging app? IMO. What is that? I'm trying to think because of what kind of phone that would be. Let's see. Yeah, it's for video calls. Okay. So he did, I mean, so it's like a video messaging app. And it says play Roy, and he's got a picture gallery. So he does a lot of pictures. He got time lapse videos. Who knows what Roy was up to? He was doing a lot. Roy was doing some weird shit, and we just know that. He also would post really disturbing things. He meant to post on here. He corrects in a later in the comments, but he meant to say same shit, different day. But he also says Jesus is not my savior, and then it's a picture of a guy that's actually hanging from a tree. I didn't want to post that, so I just cropped it out. And then someone in the comments said, "You need to take this down." And he says, "I typed same shit, but shot came out." And then someone at the bottom said, I hate that my slide is covering that. How do I get it off? But anyway, it says basically, "I'm sorry you feel that way, but I am here to tell you that Jesus is our savior." Okay, so transgender is taking over the Zika virus. Okay, so this is what he's posting. And I don't know if Roy was trans or what, but he liked to wear his hair curly. He liked to wear earrings. He liked to do whatever Roy wanted to do. He was also into some weird stuff. I just marked that out because I felt just really weird and uncomfortable. But he posted things where women dressed as children. Yeah. And so if you look here in the mirror on the first picture, it's a rack of bows. It's like the bows that you put in your hair. So it's clips of barrettes on the mirror, and then the circle right there is a bottle. It's like a baby bottle. Okay. And he posted that to his Instagram or to his Facebook. But it says, "Would you change your girl's pamper?" Like, he was really just not, I mean, the stuff that he was into, and no one corrected him. No one, I mean, unless they were just all into the same type of stuff, not many people would really say much of anything about these posts, but they were just very disturbing. Here's another one of a woman with a pacifier in her mouth as if she's a freaking toddler and is not. And the same caption says, "Would you change your girl's pamper? LOL." And the post is by LAD Bible. "Meet the girl who lives her life as a baby." Okay. So it says he died at age 53. He did die in December, so that is why his all his social activity it stops in 2017. All right. He had a few stuff. He had stuff on his record, and I think it was prior to that too, but I couldn't find the stuff that he did time for prior. But he um, used drugs. So he used drugs. He admits it, obviously, but he also has charges for possession, and he has a charge on here for common law robbery, which I didn't know what common law robbery was, and I work in corrections, so that was kind of. But basically, it's if you enter a dwelling at night and you intend to commit a felony. Like, if you have the intent to commit a felony, that's common law robbery. So he had those two charges that I actually could find on Been Verified. So now we are going to talk about connections, you guys. I think I saw somebody say something about connections. Oh yeah, trust me. We're going to talk about connections, which is why I'm going to break it down piece by piece by piece. There is so much. And are there connections? Heck yes, that you wouldn't believe. But I gotta give it to you bite size because number one, I still have to verify a lot of the information because I can't put it out if I don't have the source. And also, I can't do hearsay because my goal is to create a documentary that is all like factual, as close to the truth as I can get it from what we know, from what we could possibly find out. So that's the goal here because I feel like Asia deserves that. Asia deserves that. All right, so I'm gonna share this and then I'm gonna, while she's talking on this audio, I'm gonna just go through and read the comments so that when this is done, I can respond to the comments. Okay, so 1 second. There's not gonna be any picture or anything on this, just a still frame, okay? Let's do, here we go. All right, so this is Miss Turner. Let me just say this before I put this up. If you hear a beep, that means there is a redaction there. It's the least I could do, you guys. I'm so sorry. I wish I could share everything, but if you say names that I just can't, with a good conscience, put that out there because number one, Miss Turner is having a conversation with me. Yes, she gave me permission to share this, but from me to her, she still got to live there. She's just minding her own business, living her life. So I just wanted to put what was relevant right now. If that information becomes relevant later, I promise you I will share it. All right, here we go.
Hello.
Hi, my name is Shiro, and I'm doing a documentary on the missing Asha Degree. And I was calling to see if there was anything that you would like to add or if there's anything you know since your facility is so close to the area.
No, the only thing I know is what they have found out the past few days, the past couple of weeks. And I don't personally know that family or anything, but I just I just think it's weird.
Yeah. So I'm working on a documentary about everything just to put everything in order so that people can kind of have an idea of like what's correct and what's not. Just trying to clear up some misconceptions and things like that. So I actually flew out there the last couple of days and got to look at the area and things like that. So and it seems pretty quiet. It seems everybody's really nice. It seems really quiet.
Oh, it is. And actually, 20-something years ago, it was even quieter than this, And, I don't know why she left home. And I know some man in a Sun Drop truck, which is a soft drink, saw her walking down the road. And I think he pulled over and called the police or called somebody. And because, she wasn't supposed to be walking down the side of the road. And it was, right when you got to the area where I live here. Okay. And then I don't know if she ran up into towards the woods because something scared her. And I just don't know how she ended up over on 180.
I know.
That's just
or
odd.
18, right?
Yeah, 150. Yeah.
And are you the one with? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I rode by there that day. They were taking stuff out of that man's house.
Yeah.
And I thought, that's a long way for a little girl to walk in a storm. And I thought, well, that's just odd that that would take a long time for a little child,
Right. Well, I read that she didn't necessarily make it that far. I think that the sightings were more near where you are, but they stopped there. So there's been no clarification as to what happened there. So they don't think that she made it that far on foot, at least.
That's what I didn't think she could, because I rode over there in my car 2 weeks ago. And I thought to myself going over there, because I look at that sign every day, and, my heart hurts because she's been gone for years.
Right.
And even if me, and I'm 65, would have trouble walking that far, And if she was a child, 9 years old, there's no way she could have made it over there.
Yes, ma'am.
I just don't understand how she got there. So the only thing I can assume is somebody hit her and pulled her in the car and, took her over there.
Right.
Or I just don't know. Because it was real stormy that night. And then what I can't understand is if I hit, even if I was a teenager driving and I hit someone and killed them or whatever, I would go ahead and call the police because I had killed somebody.
Absolutely.
Even because it's an accident.
Right.
I wouldn't have covered it up. I just don't understand.
Oh, yeah. That's why I think a lot of people are confused.
I am.
Because you would think that they would be like, okay, this was an accident. It's raining. It's easy to not see someone. And, if it's wet.
And you would just hit her, because it was it was pouring rain that night. And because that next day, when everybody was out looking for her up on the property I live on, it was muddy and, you could tell it had poured the night before. And everybody was out searching, and I just can't understand how she got that far. So somebody had to have hit her and taken her over there. And because I actually went over there twice to check the distance.
Right. I did too. I walked it and I started sweating.
That was me. I was like, I cannot walk this far. And I'm, basically a healthy person. And a little child wouldn't make it that far, and they would never make it to that man's house.
No, yeah, for sure didn't make it that far. And when it looks like the road on the side, it almost looks like it's flatter than what it is. But then when you start walking, you realize you can't really walk without getting on the road.
There are hills here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you, it kind of goes up and down, so it's really tedious anyway.
It does.
But if that's what they've proven so far, I have to believe what they say, because evidently they have some kind of evidence.
Right.
But I just think, that seems the only logical thing, that somebody hit her and pulled her in and took her over there.
Okay.
And, because we looked and looked, and I know a few of her things may have been found in that building. And then, they found her book bag in another county, but that's where they found the DNA. So if she ran to that building, she probably just dropped some stuff. And
are you close to that building? How close are you to it?
Probably about not even probably a quarter of a mile.
Okay, that's not far. That's not bad.
Yeah, and but I just think that somebody had to take her over there, and I don't know. For years, everybody thought it was this other man that used to live up there.
Do you know if the authorities questioned him at all?
Oh, yeah.
They did?
Yeah,
okay.
They questioned.
Right. Have you ever met any of the Deadmans?
No.
Okay.
I might have met his wife years ago, but I really don't know them well. I know his brother and his wife, but that's all.
Okay.
They run the trucking company, but
okay.
I don't know the other Deadmans.
And do you know if the family of the Degree family had any affiliation with them or knew them?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
And I'm gonna tell you one other thing about this Deadman man. Back in the late 70s and early 80s, he started a school in Shelby, and it was called 12 Oaks Academy. And there were a few people I know that got sent there, and it was supposed to be a real strict Christian academy, but it was in town in a neighborhood, and I always ask questions about it when my mom and dad we would ride down through there because I was young then, and then I found out later that you had to be white to go to that school.
I read about that.
Yeah, and I thought that was real odd, and I thought, and that might be why he had to hide everything with Asha, because he'd already had a bunch of flack about that.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, well, maybe that was the reasoning.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
And do you know if that nursing home is still open, Northbrook?
I do not know. I went there.
It looks closed down, and
I think it should be because the last time I went there was about 15 or so years ago, and my second husband's uncle was in there because he was crazy, and there wasn't anybody to take care of him, and they just kept him on tramadol all the time. No, it was clean, and they seemed to be nice to him, but I mean, he had been known to be crazy for like 10 or 15 years. Like he'd been to Broughton a couple times and stuff, and
is Broughton a mental health? Is Broughton a mental health facility?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, and nobody could take care of him because my second husband's grandmother was old and had cancer, so she couldn't take care of him, and that was her brother-in-law, so she had to have him put in that nursing home. But, I mean, the nursing home looked fine on the outside, but I didn't know they had all that crap going on in there.
It's very big. I drove by there, and it's huge.
Yeah, and it was really clean, and the floors were shining. Hold on one second. Oh, it's my brother calling him. He's nosy. I'll call him back in a minute.
Okay.
But, I mean, that's all I know so far, because in my mind, I don't know where I think she disappeared to. I just don't know.
What about the other gentleman, the one who was named, and he's no longer here, but what about him?
I have never heard that man's name. The only thing I know is at one time he disappeared from that nursing home, and then a week later he was found dead outside the back door. And I don't know why he died. And that was in 2004,
Okay.
I think. And then also the other nursing home, it used to be called Gilton's Nursing Home. He had something to do with it, and it's up in Lawndale. Well, this woman, I can't pronounce her name. I can't even remember it. She disappeared in the middle of the week one time while school was going on, and she was near Burns High School. Okay, and so they let everybody know, and the police are out looking for this woman. Okay, they went to the high school, looked in every car, every school bus, in the woods. This woman was never found. Okay, and then she's never been heard from since, and I've never heard her name again. And I mean, I'm like, why does nobody not know where this woman is?
You know what? I wonder if it's the Asian woman, correct? She's Asian?
Yes.
She was found in 10 years later.
Did they find her?
They did. They found her
Where?
10 years later. As a matter of fact, I think her name is like Moy or hold on.
Yeah, that's her.
Moy?
That's her.
Yes, they did. I can't remember the details, but I do remember reading their family got paid like $1.something million for negligence, I guess, from the state ended up paying them like over $1 million.
Okay. See, I knew there was more to all that because I thought, why has nobody ever said anything about this woman?
Oh, yeah, they did.
Because she just disappeared and was never heard from again. Like, you don't drop off the earth.
Right, yeah.
And you would have posters up for years, I would keep looking for my family if they were missing,
I would never stop.
And, yeah, I wouldn't stop.
Yeah. And so there's a man that was named in the search warrant whose DNA was found. He's the one that has passed away.
Yeah. The Underwood man.
Underhill or hold on.
Underhill, yeah, that might be his name.
I still feel like I'm saying it wrong, but do you have any recollection of him, or did you know about him at all?
No, I knew nothing about him. I had never heard of him, never seen him. And when Jim lived up there, nobody ever came up there. I mean, every once in a while, one of his daughters came up, and that was it.
Really?
There was nobody ever there. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. I wish I had known him so I could kind of have an idea of what he was like, but then everybody says you really don't want to know him.
Well, yeah, that might be true too. That might be true too, because then you don't really know. It might be something you don't want to.
And to know that you have grown up in a community with somebody that evil,
Yes.
I mean, because that's pretty bad. Because we looked for that girl for years.
Right.
And her mom and daddy have suffered. And I don't know them. If they walked right by me, I will. A couple of years when they marched down to the sign, I walked with them, but they don't know me, and I don't know them. I would just join them in. They probably know who I am, but I just did it for support. And then, if they walked up to me right now, I wouldn't recognize them. And but every time I thought about Asha, I thought about her poor mama.
Yes.
And thought about how she was suffering.
For 24
and
years.
I know, 24 years, yeah. Because it hurt my heart every time I drove by that sign.
Yeah.
But that's all I remember.
Well, thank you. I think I wanted to get a feel of what people knew, what they thought about it, or whatever, because I'm putting together a documentary and I want to have as much information as possible, because I have a feeling that we're close to figuring it out. I really, really do. And I pray, because no one should have to go through this type of agony for this long.
Nobody deserves that kind of death, and for your mom and daddy not to know. But I'm telling you, I was young, like I was 39 when she disappeared. Okay, and wait a minute, hold on, I think it's my brother here. Okay, and so I just know she couldn't have walked that far. Somebody took her over there.
Yeah.
So that's only because I couldn't have walked it. Come in. Hey, I'll be right there. So it's my brother.
Okay, I won't hold you too long. Really quick before I go, do you know who Roy Blanton, his son? Did you know of him? Okay, he is one of the other truck drivers who said he saw him and his father said they saw Asia that night. So I just want to know.
I just heard what he said, but I didn't know him.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. I won't hold you too long, and I just want to make sure. Are you okay with me sharing the things that you shared with me about what you do know, or
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you so much, and
Thank you.
Have a wonderful day.
I hope you.
Sorry, I was muted. I didn't realize it. So that's pretty much how that went. I didn't run into anybody who wouldn't talk about this, and it feels like people just want to get to have some resolution. Everybody in the town is curious. It seems quiet. It seems small. Everybody's connected in some way. I read in the comments, but I took some notes. I tried to get through some of them and scan the ones that were asking questions. But I think G-Dragon, you hit the nail on the head when the feeling that there's more to this. I think not just you, but a lot of people are feeling that way. And she made a few comments like that made me feel like she feels that way as well. So I think that's interesting. Someone said, did they show that nightgown to the girls at the sleepover? That's a really good question. Because at that time, I mean, I know this was like later coming out, but still, like, I feel like that's a really good question. I don't know. O'Brien hearing the bed squeak or whatever. Yeah, because their brain someone says, could he be suppressing some memory or whatever? And I think your brain will do that. You know, I've suffered from trauma. I know from my own personal experience, I've had that. So I can definitely relate. So I know that it's possible. And let me address this. So there is a clip of Asia's classmate on the news, and the news article posted it. And this is not the first time I'm hearing this. Several people are telling me that they are misquoted or whatever and whatever. But that was not Asia's classmate. I connected with her, and it was O'Brien's classmate. She didn't have really that much recollection of Asia. She was O'Brien's classmate. So just because she knew of Asia, I think it's just so important to get these details really straight, because classmate, you know, it seemed like they were in class together, but they were not in class together. So glad I asked her, but you see how things is like the game of telephone. People see that it's in news articles, then you repeat it, and then you put it in yours, and it's just like, I don't understand. So part of me is just, I want to talk to people because I want to know, did you really say this? Did you really say this? And so I'm anxious to talk to the detective because I want to know, is this correct? Asia deserves that. So Susan says that the Walmart is not that far. So I'm going to check on that Walmart. Thank you for that, Susan. I appreciate that. So I will verify that information. I appreciate it. And if anybody in here has any more, like any information that if you find that off, or that you find any clarification of anything that I post, just shoot me an email at foreverkennedy8120@gmail, or you can do it on the website. I promise I'll check it tomorrow at disturbiatruecrime.com. And I will make sure that that gets vetted and corrected. I promise. I apologize if anything like that does happen. My goal is to make sure that things are up and rolling, that it's better. So let's see. Walmart, Sexy Ice Princess says that Walmart, as far as I don't know what, she ain't walking there. It takes 17 minutes to get to Walmart, and I live 4 minutes from Asia further out. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I'll definitely check on that. I sent you a message with my, okay, thank you, Sierra. Okay, so let me go to the next. Let me see what else. Okay. All right, this is an old footage from one of the earlier articles, but let me share with you this 2-minute clip of Dan Crawford. Now, this is what I didn't say to y'all last time, because I think this is very interesting. Dan Crawford felt like he knew.
And over the years, as you have...
Dan Crawford felt like he knew. Now, this journalist is putting a lot on the line right now, saying that this came from Dan Crawford because he has passed when this came out. But I do want to share it because I want y'all to hear it. Like I said, we need to go over everything, and we need all the information, not just a little bit. Because when you have all the information, you can do so much. You can do so much more, and you can think critically. And when you have all the pieces to the puzzle, so we're gonna look at all of it. I don't care if it takes us 1,000 hours. I'm gonna be here at night to break it down and pull it apart. And then at the end, we're going to put it all together, and we're going to know all the facts. So it is what it is. So here's this clip that I want y'all to watch. I'm going to take myself off the screen, okay?
So closely followed it.
Well, the FBI has never formally named any suspects, but that certainly doesn't mean that there haven't been suspects. I was pretty close with Sheriff Crawford, who was the sheriff of Cleveland County when this actually happened, and he had a suspect in mind that he actually told me one time he literally thought about driving out to this person's house and knocking on their door and telling them that if they would just tell her where Aisha was, what had happened, that he would not even charge them, that he would never tell a soul other than the family. He wanted so badly to close the case. Now, I do not know if Sheriff Crawford ever went and did that door knock, and we unfortunately can't ask him because he passed away several years ago. But there certainly have been suspects, and as Marky mentioned, they looked at everybody on her street, everybody who knew Aisha, people who are close to her, coaches, teachers, and everyone has been cleared.
Rich, the other thing is you personally have been impacted by this case. You wanted to go back to North Carolina to follow up on this one. I know Marky used the phrase that this story, Aisha's disappearance, still haunts you today, 22 years later. Why did it stick with you?
Obviously the mom is just such a powerful character. She loves Aisha so much, and that hope that she still holds out, that she thinks, Aisha might still be out there. If you think about all the officers, all the investigators that we talked to this week, they all feel that way. And I do have a regret. Maybe 5 days after Aisha disappeared, I was interviewing her mom, and her mom was really close to breaking down. She was just exhausted, hungry, frustrated. And I remember saying to her, to try to calm her down, they're going to find her. And I wish I hadn't said that. I was just trying to be human at the time. But I still remember saying that to her. I remember her face. And I think about this story a lot.
Well, no one.
I was muted, y'all. I was muted. Thank you. Who said that? Somebody said, girl, look up. Oh my God. Whatever I was saying, I thought was good. Oh my goodness. Okay, let me start over. Good Lord. Okay. So what I was saying, thank y'all for telling me. I appreciate it. Okay. So what I was saying is Dan really thought that he knew who did this. He really thought he knew who did this. He was sure of it. And to the point that you want to go and tell them, like, you're not going to say anything. So what I was saying is, what information did he have? What type of information was he sitting on that made him feel so confident that he felt like, I want to go to this person's house, right? There was so much dissension in law enforcement at that time, according to the articles, right? Because none of us were there. We don't know. So allegedly, there was so much dissension going on. And I'm telling you, I feel like there was some information that he got a hold of that was very powerful information. But those of you who are saying that this is bigger than what it looks like, that there's a bigger connection here, 100%. If it's not, I'm telling you, if I was if I was bold enough to be betting, I probably would put some heavy money on that. But I ain't stupid now. But I mean, I really do feel like this is linked to something else, and a lot of people have been having the same feeling, because the longer that we get into this and the more we go down these rabbit holes, you're going to start seeing, all right, we painted the picture with Roy, we painted the picture with Dan Crawford, we're going to paint the picture with the family trees, we're going to paint the picture with the locations, and then you're going to start to see like a crime board. Everything is so connected that it would surprise me if it was just so simple. It would really surprise me, because when I talked to the family member who said, I feel like she got hit and someone didn't want to say anything, I feel like that would be, I don't want to say like too clear, which it could. Anything's a possibility. But all the other connections, though, and the way people are acting, and the way Dan Crawford, said, I just wish I could go to that person's door and just tell them, I won't turn you in, just tell us where she is. What do you know? What do you know that makes you feel so strongly about that? What do you know? So let's see here. 1 second. I will not be muting myself again. Oh my God, that was too much. Okay. All right, so this is one of the earlier clips from Asia, where she was at, or not Asia, I'm sorry, the Degree family, and when they were at church. This is just a news clip that I wanted to share.
TV's Sarah Batista was there, and Sarah, 10 years. It's hard to believe. And her family, they have not given up.
They have not given up, and they still get 2 to 3 tips a week, mostly from inmates, but none of those tips have panned out, and that's why they're really hoping that someone will come forward with information. Within the walls of Macedonia Baptist Church, there is hope. Hope that a 9-year-old little girl who went missing 10 years ago will one day be found alive. For Asha Degree's parents, there is neither peace nor closure.
We still have hope. We don't think she's dead, but we still need help.
Just keep praying for me and my family, and that she will return home.
Thank you for all that you do, God. The service remembering Asha has become a Valentine's Day tradition in Cleveland County. It's the same day she went missing from her home in 2000. She was last seen by a truck driver walking along Highway 18 around 4 in the morning. Her book bag found in Burke County a year later, but still no Asha.
Our whole agency is 100% dedicated to this, because everybody wants this case solved.
Tonight, family and friends donated to her reward fund with the hope it will attract a break in the case. They've even circulated a picture of what Asha might look like today. Her disappearance still the talk of the town.
I heard people asking all the time, you're from Shelby. What happened about that little girl from Shelby that they never found?
Her name and face engraved into the memories of those who followed her case for years. Tonight, friends and family sang, cried, even found a moment to laugh. Anything to help ease the pain her parents still carry every day.
Somebody knows something that we believe, that we know in our heart. So we're just asking that the person will come forward.
Okay, so that was the last that I'm going to share today. I'll say the other stuff as far as the clips for tomorrow. But yeah, I just wanted you to see just kind of everything that's been going on as far as the journey. 24 years. This girl's been missing. 24 years. And, you look at the area. I want to talk about that because just walking it myself, I had to get on the street a couple of times. So that's just, there's so many theories. I made this chart of these possible theories, and we're gonna go over that tomorrow. And basically, if you have thoughts, bring them, share them. I would love to hear what you think as far as that's concerned too. Like maybe if I missed a possible theory, let me know. We can add it. But the theory, for example, that she was abducted from the home and never went walking anywhere. The theory that she got into a warm car because she didn't take a coat. She went outside with no coat. Was a car waiting for her? You know, the theory that she was sleepwalking and ran into foul play, crime of opportunity during her most vulnerable moment because she isn't even aware that she's sleepwalking. The possibility that something that she ran into someone that's a friend of the family's, or that someone who's close to the family. Like there's so many different possibilities. But this is why I do this, you guys. Number one, I enjoy doing the research. It's a lot. Sometimes I feel like I'm losing my mind, but let me tell you something. There was a case, Deborah Thompson, and if anybody remembers that case or knows anything about that case, put a 1 in the comments. So Deborah Thompson is, this case went on for 10 years. Now, this woman's husband was very, very like they had a really volatile relationship. They fought all the time. They got into it, and he was really mean to her. He was not, a nice person. Well, when she went missing, he didn't even look for her. So they had gotten into an argument prior to her going missing, and everybody just knew. Oh, even I was like, oh, he did it. There's just no way. All the circumstantial evidence, we don't need no more. And the fact that he's not looking. But the crazy thing is, you have to remember, you have to know, not everybody thinks like you. Not everybody's going to go search for somebody. Just because you're an asshole doesn't make you a killer, right? Or it doesn't make you a killer. Just because you're a horrible husband or a horrible boyfriend doesn't mean anything. It just means you're an asshole or a horrible boyfriend. And it turns out that for 10 years, this guy had been taking all this heat, and everybody was saying that he did it. They were just so sure of it, that he did it. You couldn't tell me he didn't do it. I believed he did it. But turns out it was the guy that was at this party that she was at, and he was the one that took her, invited her to his home, and he ended up taking her life and burying her in his backyard or somewhere around the house. It wasn't her husband at all. So that's why when it comes to this case, I want us to look at everything, even if we feel so strongly, because I know everybody's on one direction, but what if there's so much more to it? What if there's so much more to it? All right, let me go over the comments real quick. Tomorrow, I'm going to do my best to try to be on time, but I'm going to be working on this more and more and more. I'm trying to get things in order, so please be patient with me. All right, someone said I believe she sleepwalked. Okay, whoever took Asia had with the candy wrappers there and stuff. Okay, so some people think that's a red herring too. Could it be? Could the wrappers be, something that she put there? Hey, okay. I think truly whatever happened started in her home. No way a 9-year-old disappears on their own, especially a 9-year-old girl. Yeah, you got to think, what made you run away? That's the biggest question about this. Why did you leave? Were you sleepwalking? What happened that made you leave? Or were you running? Because kids run, when they run away, it said that they either run from something or to something. Okay. Okay, sorry, y'all. I'm doing talk to text, but I know y'all could understand what I'm saying. Oh, okay. I'll be talking to each other. I said, Connie. Oh, really? Oh, wow. Not blaming anyone, but I just wondered, did she mention? Yes, I did. And we'll go over that some more too. So I hope that you all got something out of this tonight. I'm so sorry if I missed some things. I'm trying so hard to keep the things in order, but this is one of those cases where it's really tough to do so. Now, I did meet a woman who goes to church with Roy. I have that audio too, so I'll probably play it tomorrow if I can get it loaded. So she goes to church with the Deadmans, and she said that they are nice people, and she does not know why they were tearing up his land. She was a really nice lady, but she said that she feels sorry for both sides. She feels sorry for the Deadmans. She feels sorry for the Degrees. She said that it's just unfortunate, and she said she doesn't believe that he would do such a thing. She cannot believe it. And she said her husband went to school with Roy, and that's how she knows they go to the same church. So I did meet her. So that was interesting. That was interesting. So, all right. Everything else I forgot, I will hit y'all up tomorrow. I promise. And let me look through the comments real quick. I don't want to just run out of here. So I'm from Shelby, North Carolina, and this case has been crazy. It is so crazy. Underhill was being transported in that vehicle, so he probably was with her when she did it. Definitely a possibility. Remember, she wanted everybody to be happy. Yeah, that's true. It's hard when you're a kid and you're a people pleaser. I was like that when I was a kid. Plenty of racist people in the town. Okay, yep, I can see, like, and it's sad, but let's see who's in Shelby right now. Oh, and someone asked did I go to Shelby? Yes, I did. I went to Shelby last weekend. I'm going back on close to the 11th that week. I'm going somewhere around there. I'll be back in Shelby. So, but all right, you guys, go to bed. Go to bed. Thank y'all for being here. I'll see y'all tomorrow night, and hopefully we can kind of unpack this a little bit more. If you need anything or if you have anything you want to share, like I said, reach out to me at foreverkennedy8120@gmail or disturbiatruecrime.com, and I will see y'all tomorrow. All right, good night.